ถานีวิทยุสรานรม AM1575 การทูตเพื่อประชาชน
เพื่อไทยก้าวไกลทันโลก
สวัสดีค่ะ It's now 6 p.m. here on Radio Saranrom AM1575, the radio station of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, the radio station for people's foreign affairs. You are now listening to News and Views with me, Venus Asawapum. There are a number of press releases today that I'd like to share with you from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.The first one is the advisor to the Minister of Foreign Affairs attended the 7th Global Forum of the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations. On the 26th and 27th April 2016, His Excellency Mr. Thaisari Anaman, advisor to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, attended the 7th Global Forum of the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations in the Baku, Republic of Azerbaijan.The UNAOC is a forum where different civilizations can constructively exchange experiences, views, and suggestions in order to tackle violence and extremism in their root causes as a form of preventative diplomacy. The 7th Global Forum under the theme Living Together in Inclusive Societies, a Challenge and a Goal was attended by official delegations from 120 member and observer countries, as well as 1,500 participants from all sectors. In the UNAOC Group of Friends high-level meeting, His Excellency, the advisor, delivered a statement emphasizing the link between the Sustainable Development Goals and peace, which is in line with the Royal Thai government's policy to provide socio-economic opportunities for vulnerable groups.The statement also mentioned the ministry's activities to promote interreligious and intercultural understanding, namely the hosting of the Interfaith Symposium in collaboration with the Research Center for Islamic History, Art and Culture. Under the Organization of Islamic Cooperation or OIC and the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding or the MOU on the promotion of multicultural understanding in ASEAN. Following the initiatives of Spain and Turkey, the UNAOC was founded by His Excellency Mr. Kofi Annan while serving as a UN Secretary General in 2005.Thailand joined the group of friends in the same year and has participated in every global forum as well as contributed regularly to the UNAOC Voluntary Trust Fund. Currently, the group of friends comprises 119 member countries and 26 international organizations.Next is about Thailand's National Universal Periodic Review or UPR report for the second cycle to the 25th session of the UPR Working Group. On the 11th May 2016, the Thai delegation, led by Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Justice, presented Thailand's National Universal Periodic Review or UPR report for the second cycle to the 25th session of the UPR Working Group in Geneva. In his opening statement, the Permanent Secretary reiterated Thailand's commitment to the promotion and protection of human rights.Thailand has implemented various recommendations it accepted during the first cycle review in 2011. Concrete progress and outcomes include accessions to and withdrawals of several reservations to various international human rights instruments, such as those related to transnational organized crimes, rights of the child, elimination of discrimination against women and persons with disabilities.Moreover, the government has set up and upgraded various legislative frameworks covering issues such as gender equality, justice fund, protection of vulnerable persons, criminalization of child pornography, anti-corruption, anti-trafficking in persons, as well as penitentiary reform. The government is also pushing forward to pass the draft law related to prevention of torture and enforced disappearance in line with international standard. During the session, 102 countries took the floor, covering a wide range of human rights issues, such as measures against trafficking in person, labor rights, strengthening of human rights, infrastructure, protection of human rights defenders, rights of vulnerable groups including children, women, older persons, migrants, and LGBTs, law enforcement in the southern borders provinces, freedom of expression, rights to association, rights to fair trial, and constitution referendum. Several countries commended Thailand on its concrete progress on the promotion of economic, social, and cultural rights, such as group rights, anti-human trafficking efforts, MDGs achievements, universal health coverage, and gender equality. The Third National Human Rights Action Plan, reform of laws, ratifications and withdrawals of reservations of human rights treaties and protocols. Concerns were expressed on freedom of expression, right to peaceful assembly, the use of military court, arbitrary detention, protection of human rights defenders, and insufficient debate and participation in the constitution drafting and referendum process. The Thai delegation will announce recommendations it will accept at the meeting. They actually announced recommendations it accepted at the meeting on May 13, 2016, and the delegation brought back to Thailand recommendations that require further consultation with relevant agencies and the Cabinet's approval. Thailand can submit the list of additional accepted recommendations to the UN Human Rights Council by September this year. UPR is a mechanism under the United Nations Human Rights Council that encourages each country to make human rights recommendations to other countries in constructive, equal, and peer-to-peer manners. These recommendations also include promotion of technical cooperation on human rights among every part of the society, as well as between countries and international partners. I think for the last few times I also have touched on the issues with ASEAN and the becoming of ASEAN community. Today I'd like to bring to your attention a news report by Reuters on the financial crisis and how ASEAN Plus 3 can help enhance safety net to avert the financial crisis in the region. The finance chiefs from Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which is ASEAN for short, and plus Japan, China, and South Korea, agreed earlier in May to enhance a financial safety net for the region to avert possible crises amid an economic slowdown and unstable market activity. The finance ministers and central bank chiefs also vowed to use all necessary policy tools, monetary, fiscal, and structural, to promote economic growth, similar to an accord reached last month by financial chiefs of the Group of 20 developed and emerging economies. Among such policy measures, the participants say the countries will flexibly deploy fiscal policies to strengthen growth, create jobs, and foster innovation while enhancing resilience and enduring debt sustainability. The meeting in Frankfurt came as the US dollar plunged about 6 yen after the Bank of Japan kept its monetary policy unchanged earlier in May despite growing market expectation for additional stimulus. The dollar's weakness has also been bolstered by the U.S. Federal Reserve's seemingly cautious stance over a further interest rate hike amid a slowdown in overseas economies. We will closely monitor capital flows and risk stemming from capital flow volatility and respond appropriately to the changing economic environment and financial market volatility in support of the regional economic and financial stability. As a step to maintain financial stability, the finance chiefs agree to enhance the Chiang Mai Initiative multilateralization scheme, which serves as a regional safety net in case of emergency. ASEAN groups Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. On the other sidelines of the ASEAN Plus 3 meeting, finance chiefs of Japan, China, and South Korea reaffirmed their commitment to advancing structural and industrial reform to increase productivity and potential growth amid persisting uncertainty. The finance minister and central bank governors acknowledge global growth remains modest and uneven, even when the global outlook is clouded by continued financial volatility, low commodity prices, and low inflation, according to a statement released after the meeting. To address such concerns, the finance chiefs vowed to continue exploring policy options tailored to each country's circumstances to support growth and respond to potential risk. The three Asian countries also pledged to enhance communication and coordination among them to pursue strong, sustainable, and balanced growth at both national and regional level. I guess new measures that's been going on in France that's going to help with the environment. The first one is the new rooftops. France recently declared last month that all new rooftops must be topped with plants or solar panels. And this news is it's written by the CS Globe. So a new law recently passed in France mandates that all new buildings that are built in commercial zones in France must be partially covered in either plants or solar panels. Actually, this being covered in plants, that's actually a law that's been implemented in Singapore for quite some time now. So the green roofs, as they're called, have an isolating effect, which helps to reduce the amount of energy needed to heat a building during the winter or cool it in the summer. So they're capable of retaining rainwater and reducing problems with runoff, and also offer birds a place to call home in urban jungle, basically. The French environmental activists originally wanted to pass a law that would make the green roofs cover the entire surface of all new roofs. However, partially covered roofs make for a great start and are still a huge step in the right direction. Some say that the law that was passed is actually better, as it gives the business owners a chance to install solar panels to help provide the buildings with renewable energy, and thereby leaving even less of a footprint. Green roofs are already very popular in Germany and Australia, as well as Canada's city of Toronto. And this bylaw was adopted in 2009 by the city of Toronto, which mandated green roofs on all new industrial and residential buildings. Now let's see what are the benefits of the green roofs besides what I just said. There are actually quite a number of benefits to green roofs, and here are just a few. Adding natural beauty and major aesthetic improvement to buildings, which in turn increases the investment opportunity. Some of you might have a chance to visit a new shopping mall in Bangkok, M Quartier, and parts of it have some, space to do decoration with greens outside the building, and there's also a little garden built within, and it definitely helps add the natural beauty and the major aesthetic improvement to the building. Another benefit is helping contribute to landfill diversion by prolonging the life of waterproofing membranes using recycled materials and prolonging the service of heating, ventilation throughout the building. Green roofs assist with stormwater management because water is stored by the substrate then taken up by plants, thus return to the atmosphere through transpiration and evaporation. They also retain rainwater and moderate the temperature of the water and act as natural filters for the water that does run off. They delay the time at which runoff occurs, which results in decreased stress on sewer systems during peak periods. That might be very useful in a country like Thailand where it rains quite often during the rainy season and quite hard. We experience a number of floods in the city, and the green roof might offer a great solution to the problem. The plants on green roofs also do a great job of capturing airborne pollutants and other atmospheric deposition. They can also filter noxious gases. They open up new areas for community gardens, commercial and recreational space in busy cities where this space is generally quite limited. France is definitely on the right track, but it should be a mandate that all new buildings being built in North America and even the whole world adopt this amazing idea to reap all of the potential benefits. And another move in Paris. There has been a test going on. In Paris, they used to organize one car-free day out of a year in Paris, and due to the success now, Champs-Élysées in Paris goes car-free every Sunday. The constant thunder of cars on Paris' most famous boulevard will be silenced Sunday when Champs-Élysées go pedestrian only for the day in the first installment of a monthly effort to tackle pollution. After this week's pilot, the 3-lined 2-kilometer long, it's a 1.2-mile avenue leading to the Arc de Triomphe will be free of cars on the first Sunday of every month to coincide with the monthly free admission to the city's museums. Paris mayor said that every foreign tourist who comes to Paris naturally wants to visit Champs-Élysées, but we want to bring Parisians back to this emblematic place which belongs to them. When you walk the avenue without the din of traffic, you rediscover perspective, the facades, and the sceneries. The boulevard attracts an average of 300,000 visitors every day, including many tourists. Vast crowds gather there for special occasions when the road is also closed to traffic, including for New Year celebration. Famously, 1 million people thronged the avenue to celebrate France's victory in the 1998 Football World Cup. 9 new routes will also be open to pedestrians and bicycles only every Sunday and public holiday, adding to the 13 already subject to traffic restrictions under the Paris Respire or Paris Breathes anti-pollution program. A socialist had made fighting the smog that periodically chokes the French capital one of her priority. Her name is Hidalgo. The World Health Organization say that fine particle air pollution is responsible for 42,000 premature deaths in France each year. So hopefully these new rules about the car-free days once every month could develop into something more sustainable or more long-term or even more often. Now, we have only a few minutes left into the program. I usually leave this last part of the program to talk about the health and new scientific update. And there's a new finding that I'd like to share with you today. We might get to touch on it just a little bit. It's about, how you get fat, and you might actually be able to blame your partner for getting fat. There's a new study that suggests your significant other could play a big part in your weight gain and loss. And, I guess the bad eating habits rub off, it seems. And this is from an excerpt from newdelhi.com. Your partner has a greater influence over your risk of becoming obese than your genetics or upbringing, according to research, which makes being healthy while in a relationship a worthwhile endeavor. A new study is published in PLOS Genetics and conducted by experts in the universities of Edinburgh suggests people in a family history of obesity can still lose weight and reduce their risk by changing their lifestyle in middle age. So all is not lost and there's still hope. The key is who you share your life with and how. Although genetics accounts for a significant proportion of the variation between people, the study has shown that the environment you share with your partner in adulthood also influences whether you become obese, and this is more important than your upbringing. This is according to the study's late author, Professor Chris Haley. The medical community is gradually becoming aware of the impact of partners on health, a nutrition expert told the New Delhi. The big problem is this is an age group where we've never really done a research before, and we've mainly concentrated on children or people who are already obese, according to the University of Sydney. And that's just a start for the study on how your partner could play a big part in weight gain and loss, and we'll continue more on this in our next program.